She's not going to look you in the eyes and say, "I want to sleep with you." That's not how most women communicate desire, especially not in a culture where being too forward still comes with judgment. Instead, she's going to speak. In coded language, send subtle invitations and use soft signals to gauge how you respond. And here's the kicker. She's doing this not because she's playing games, but because she wants to maintain her image, protect her vulnerability, and still see if the connection has enough depth, tension, and safety to go further. If you're not paying attention, or worse, you're chasing her too aggressively, you'll miss every single one of these green lights she's quietly throwing your way. And that's where Stoicism comes in. Not the stiff, emotionless stereotype most people think of, but the real Stoic mindset, grounded awareness, emotional self-control, and reading the moment without forcing an outcome. A Stoic man doesn't try to decode every word with desperation, simply observes, lets her talk, and lets her feel safe expressing desire in her own language. When a woman is interested, her words will reveal more than she wants to admit. And if you know what to listen for, you'll start hearing the things she's really saying. So in this video, I'm going to walk you through 5 subtle phrases women say when they want to sleep with you, but don't want to sound like they do. These aren't guesses. These are recurring patterns that men miss all the time. Once you understand these signals, you'll stop trying to chase clarity and start naturally attracting the right kind of energy. Ready? Let's get into it. Asterisk 1. You're not like other guys. When a woman says, "You're not like other guys," most men hear it and instantly get flattered. They take it as a compliment, and sure, on the surface it is. But underneath, that phrase carries way more weight than just flattery. It's one of the most indirect ways a woman signals that she sees you as different, not just intellectually or emotionally, but sexually. She's comparing you to every other man she's ever dealt with, men who maybe pushed too hard, talked too much, acted needy or predictable. And by saying this, she's letting you know you've passed a subtle test. You've managed to stand out without trying too hard. You've triggered her curiosity and emotional safety at the same time. Now, here's where most guys mess up. They hear that line and immediately lean into it with ego. They start over-explaining, or worse, they start acting like the not like other guys stereotype just to keep her attention. But a Stoic man doesn't react that way. He receives the compliment without getting attached to it. He knows that this phrase isn't the finish line, it's the invitation. She's feeling something, and she wants to see how you handle it. If you get needy, she'll feel it. If you stay composed, keep the same calm presence that drew her in, she'll lean in closer. This phrase is her way of saying, "I could see myself trusting you in ways I don't usually trust other men." And in the right moment, that trust can turn into intimacy on her terms in her timing. Because you made her feel safe to go there. Let her talk. Let her open up. The more you try to convince her you're not like other guys, the more you start sounding exactly like them. The secret is, you don't say you're different. You show it by how still you are, how little you need her validation, and how attentively you listen when she speaks. Asterisk 2. I don't usually do this, but when she says, "I don't usually do this, but," she's not giving you a disclaimer, she's giving you permission. This phrase is a classic form of plausible deniability, a subtle way for her to act on desire while keeping her self-image intact. And in today's world, where women are still judged for expressing sexuality too openly, this sentence is her emotional shield. It lets her move forward without feeling like she's betraying her standards, her friends' expectations, or even her own inner critic. So when she drops this line, she's actually handing you the key wrapped in a ribbon of fake hesitation. It's not doubt. It's permission with a seatbelt on. What most men do wrong here is they challenge it. They either say, "Oh, really? You don't," with a cocky grin, or they try to lighten the moment by teasing her. But what she's looking for isn't a reaction, it's presence. A grounded man, a Stoic man, hears that phrase and understands the psychology behind it. He doesn't make it about himself. He respects the fact that she's making herself vulnerable in her own way and doesn't need to be pushed to go further. That kind of man creates an atmosphere where she can take off the mask without fear. She doesn't have to pretend anymore. She can just feel without being judged. You want an example? Imagine you're at her place after a night out, and she's looking at you with those slightly nervous, half-excited eyes. Then she says it. I don't usually do this, but in that moment, your energy matters more than your words. You don't rush. You don't joke. You just look at her, let the silence sit for a second, and keep the moment steady. She'll feel safe in that. And safety, for most women, is what unlocks the door to real intimacy. Asterisk 3. Are you staying over tonight? She won't always say what she wants directly, but she set the scene for it. When a woman asks, "Are you staying over tonight?" or something like, "You don't have to drive home this late," she's not offering you a place to sleep. She's creating a space where intimacy can happen without needing to ask for it. It's a soft, logistical question that's really a bold, emotional move. And the reason it comes out this way is simple. She wants the moment to feel natural. She wants to feel like things just happened, that it was mutual, that she didn't cross a line, she just opened the door and you happened to walk through. The truth is, most women don't want to initiate intimacy in a way that feels obvious or forward. Why? 'Cause even in 2025, the fear of being judged for moving too fast is still real. So instead, she builds the conditions, makes the night stretch out, pours another drink, lowers the lights, and then casually asks, "You want to stay?" And if you're not paying attention, if you're too distracted or too eager, you'll either miss the signal or kill the mood by making it awkward. A Stoic man doesn't jump at the offer, doesn't make it weird. He simply says, "Yeah, I can stay if you want me to," and lets her lead the pace from there. That one sentence from her is less about sleeping over and more about staying present, being there when things unfold. And when you handle that moment with calm confidence, without needing to force anything, it builds the kind of trust that makes her feel like you get it. You're not rushing, you're not calculating, you're just there, and that's exactly the kind of presence she's been waiting to feel safe around. For we probably shouldn't be doing this. Asterisk when she says, "We probably shouldn't be doing this." She's already made the decision. She just wants to feel okay about it. That phrase is less about resistance and more about release. It's a tension-filled moment where desire and doubt are dancing right next to each other. On one hand, she wants to let go and follow the chemistry. On the other, she wants to make sure she doesn't feel guilty tomorrow morning. So this statement is her way of giving herself emotional cover. It sounds like she's stopping things, but if you're paying attention, she's just really giving you the green light. She just doesn't want to own it completely out loud. This is where the energy of a Stoic man makes all the difference. A guy who hears this and starts reassuring her or trying to convince her, no, this is fine, let's just go with it, ends up killing the moment. He makes it about his desire. But a Stoic man doesn't push. He doesn't need to fix the tension, he honors it. He lets the pause exist without rushing to fill it. And that stillness creates safety, because it proves he's not needy for the outcome. He's just present for whatever she wants to feel next, in that moment. Your job isn't to break the silence or move things forward, it's to hold space. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is stay close, stay calm, and say nothing at all. Because she's not looking for your permission, she's watching your reaction. If you can handle that conflict in her, the part of her that wants it and the part that's scared to want it without flinching, then you become the man she can trust enough to let the rest unfold naturally. 5. What would you do if we were alone right now? When a woman asks, "What would you do if we were alone right now?" she's not looking for a joke or a fantasy story, she's checking your temperature. This is her stepping into the mental space of intimacy before anything physical even happens. It's playful on the surface, but the truth is, she's handing you the script and watching how you handle it. She's not just testing your imagination, she's testing your composure. Because if you get awkward, freeze up, or overdo it with some wild fantasy, she'll instantly feel it. What she wants is to feel that you're both comfortable with. Sexual energy, that you can hold it without needing to explode with it. This is one of those moments where being a grounded man makes all the difference. A Stoic doesn't treat the question like a challenge, he treats it like an invitation. He doesn't get flustered or try to be overly charming, he just lets his presence speak. Maybe he smiles, maybe he leans in just a little, maybe he says something low-key but confident, like, that depends. Are you the type to tease or the type to act? And then he lets her feel the tension. That's the power of restraint, makes everything more electric, because you're not performing. You're just holding space for the possibility without chasing it. This kind of question is a fantasy window. She's imagining what it would be like to be close to you, to trust you, to see how you handle desire. And if you can meet that energy with calm, with a touch of playfulness and a lot of presence, it tells her more than words ever could. It tells her you're not thrown by intimacy. You're not chasing it. You live in a tand. That's where. She wants to be Stoicism breakdown. At this point, you might be wondering, what does any of this have to do with Stoicism? Aren't we just decoding flirty phrases and reading between the lines? But this is exactly where Stoicism becomes your edge, okay? Because every one of these moments when she says, I don't usually do this, or are you staying over tonight? A test of your inner state. Not a test like she's trying to trick you, but a test of how well you can hold tension without reacting. Stoicism isn't about suppressing your emotions or being emotionally unavailable. It's about mastering yourself in emotionally charged moments so you don't collapse into them. It's about letting the desire rise and fall around you without needing to control it. Force it or chase it. That's what makes a Stoic man so attractive in moments of intimacy, his stillness. His grounded energy tells her that he doesn't need her to validate him, doesn't need the moment to go one specific way, and isn't afraid of either outcome. He sees the signals, feels the pull, but stays centered. And in a world where most men either freeze or push too hard, that presence becomes magnetic. She feels it. She feels like she can explore her own desire without pressure. That's what creates trust. That's what makes her want to move closer, not because she's being led, but because she feels safe choosing it. A Stoic man doesn't need to rush. He doesn't need to manipulate or impress. He simply shows up as himself, calm, clear, and fully present. And when she senses that, it opens the door to something way more powerful than just attraction. It opens the door to connection that doesn't need words to be understood. Closing. So now you know when she says, "You're not like other guys," or she whispers, "We probably shouldn't be doing this." She's not just making conversation, she's feeling something. She's letting you in without spelling it out, hoping you're emotionally aware enough to understand her without needing a roadmap. These phrases, they're not random. They're doorways. And if you walk through them too fast, you'll miss what's on the other side. But if you move with calm presence, if you listen more than you speak, if you allow her to feel safe expressing her desire without pressure, will find yourself in the rare space where real intimacy happens. Being that kind of man doesn't mean you say the perfect thing every time. It means you feel the moment and you respect it. You're not chasing validation and you're not flinching at vulnerability. That's what separates you from other men. Not a clever line, not a perfect move, but the strength to not need one. If you've ever experienced these kinds of moments, those little phrases that said everything without saying it, drop it in the comments. What was said? What did you pick up on? Or what didn't you notice until later? I want to hear about it. And if this video helped you see women and yourself a little more clearly, hit that like button. Subscribe if you haven't and share. This was someone who needs to stop chasing and start noticing, because in the end, it's not about what she says. It's about who you are while she says it.